44 minutes after the hour, America, joined now by United States Senator Tom Cotton after a dark weekend. And I've had a news-packed show with Carly Fiorina and Ted Cruz and Chris Christie. Senator Cotton, I want to ask you first about the president's comment today. Let me play the long version of it, cut number 13.
What I'm not interested in doing is posing or pursuing some notion of American leadership or America winning or whatever other slogans they come up with that has no relationship to what is actually going to work to protect the American people and to protect people in the region who are getting killed and to protect our allies and people like France.
Now, Senator Cotton, you've actually protected people in the region as an Army Ranger on patrol in Baghdad. What do you think the president is saying here?
Hugh, that's an astonishing passage from President Obama. Actually, I'm not interested in posing as America leading and winning either. I'm interested in America actually leading and America actually winning. And you know what, Hugh? So is most of the world. All of our NATO allies, countries like France, who were just attacked by the Islamic State, or Turkey, who has the Islamic State on its border, or Israel, who faces a growingly dangerous security situation with the Islamic State to its south and to its east. Countries like Iraq that need our support to fight back the Islamic State in their own borders. Those countries aren't interested in a pose. They're interested in America actually leading. And unfortunately, President Obama doesn't seem to have had any kind of viewpoint change by these terrible attacks in the heart of downtown Paris.
Let me play the second amazing quote from the day. This is cut number 15. He's talking about refugee policy, Senator Cotton.
When I hear folks say that, well, maybe we should just admit the Christians but not the Muslims. When I hear political leaders suggesting that there would be a religious test for which person who's fleeing from a war-torn country is admitted, when some of those folks themselves come from families who benefited from protection when they were fleeing political persecution, that's shameful. That's not American. It's not who we are. We don't have religious tests to our compassion.
Tom Cotton, what do you make of that?
Well, first, Hugh, this is the first time I've heard it. I've read a few commentaries about it today, and I have to say that it is remarkable. The only time President Obama seemed shaken out of his listless, detached point of view is when he was attacking Republicans for what is a very sensible policy. I believe that we should at least have a temporary moratorium, Hugh, on all refugees coming from Syria until the administration explains to the American people and the Congress in more detail exactly how they purport to vet any refugee coming from a war-torn region where we don't have law enforcement ties, where we don't have ties to basic records agencies like a census division or a birth division and so forth. But also I'd say that the Christians in Syria are being singled out because of their Christian beliefs. That is exactly the kind of targeting for persecution and ultimately extermination that the United States has given special solicitude in the past. Frank Lautenberg offered something called the Lautenberg Amendment, which specifically applied to Jews in the Soviet Union. Arlen Specter expanded it to apply to religious minorities in Iran. Of course, Muslims, Sunni and Shiite alike in Syria are suffering from the general depredations of war, but they aren't being targeted for persecution and extermination the way the Christians are. So I do believe that we should give some special attention to the plight of Christians in Syria.
Now, I've been getting, because I asked Chris Christie a hypothetical, would you allow in 3-year-old orphans from Syria? And he said, no, he wouldn't. He just wouldn't let anyone in now because he doesn't have any confidence in the vetting process. He's getting blasted online for being heartless. What he was trying to say, he can defend himself, and what the president was refusing to recognize is that we don't have any policy right now, and we don't have any ability to make rational judgments about people, and the president is politicizing it. He politicizes everything.
Yeah, so Hugh, this is an example of why I say we need a temporary moratorium until we have a better handle on exactly what the Obama administration proposes to do in terms of vetting. Obviously, the kind of vetting that we might apply to, say, a 3-year-old orphan from Syria would be different from what we would apply to, say, a 24-year-old unaccompanied male. But the first priority has to be the safety and the security of the American people. And that's what President Obama doesn't seem to get when he attacks Republicans for proposing very sensible measures to ensure that the Islamic State is not able to infiltrate terrorists into the United States the way they apparently have done in Paris.
So, Senator Cotton, today, John Brennan, the CIA, said he expects there are more ISIS attacks in the pipeline. You remember the Intelligence Committee, I don't know what you can tell us or not tell us, but when they threatened Washington today, do you think they have the present ability to do that?
Well, Hugh, I'm obviously not going to get into classified information, but they have stated their intention to launch attacks against the United States. As you say, they have just announced that they want to attack Washington, D.C., and their capabilities are clearly growing. They have launched a well-coordinated multi-front assault on a Western capital in Paris. They were responsible for dozens of people being killed in a bombing in Lebanon last week. By all published accounts from the government of Great Britain and increasingly Russia, it appears that they were responsible for downing a civilian airliner. If they are capable of doing those kinds of attacks, then surely they are capable of attacking us in the United States. That's why the war on terror is not like college football. You don't want to play home games. You want to play away games. You have to win it on offense where the terrorists are. You can't play it on defense here in the United States.
Does the French Republic have the capacity to defeat ISIS on its own, Tom Cotton?
Well, the French Republic has great capabilities when it comes to their intelligence and security services. They also have good military capabilities, but in the end, they need the United States and they need NATO to work with them to defeat the Islamic State in Syria and in Iraq, and ultimately to roll up all their affiliates around the world in places like the Sinai and Libya and Afghanistan that have the same ambition to attack the United States and to attack the West. That's why countries like France and like Israel and like Turkey and like Iraq are not looking for a pose of American leadership. They're looking for actual American leadership.
Senator Tom Cotton, always good to talk to you. Thank you. And I'm going to bring up the Arkansas. Didn't they beat somebody this weekend?
They won an away game.
They won an away.
You want to win. You want to win away games in the war on terror.
Well, that's a breaking news story as well. Are they 1-8 this year? Is that what they are?
Well, we beat LSU at LSU, which is a long way from losing to Toledo at home.
Senator Tom Cotton, always good to talk to you.